Hello, this is Monday, January 26, 2026, and this is our remote class meeting for Snow Day. I'm starting with a clone of the project that I ended up with at the end of the last video, which is pretty close, if not identical, to the hard copy I handed out in class that we started drawing the data structures for. But we've got some cosmetic stuff to change up front, don't we? I want to change, for my own benefit, letter guess count. I'm going to change that to what? Letters per guess. So let me see if I can do a substitute here. Instead of find, I want to replace, and I want to replace letter guess count with letters per guess. And yes, replace text. And I want to do the match word. And definitely in project. Is there any other way? In the project. But it won't let me. Well, I'll do it the standard transmission way. Instead of replace, let me just do a find. I hope that works. Find. Well, there those are. So I'll just replace them by hand. That's what I got to do. Instead of letter guess count, I wanted it to be, I forgot already, letters per guess. And here, instead of letter guess count, letters per guess. I'm going to violate my deeply held principles and make several changes and then run it and try to make sure that I didn't break it. The other changes that were suggested by the class, and I agree that I go along, we want to change letter option to something more intuitive and less cryptic. Find letter option, and unfortunately that's all over the place. I didn't even try to do a substitute. Let me try that one more time. Replace letter option with virtual key. Did you change? Ah, it looks like it did change. Wonderful. Well, I'm not sure what I did differently, but I hope I can do it again. We want to change current letter index to tapped letter index. Oops, this is a variable. The other was a data type. This is a variable, so it starts with lowercase. And I could have just changed that to a lowercase c, couldn't I? Too late now. Current letter index. Change that to tapped letter index. Did you change? Yes. Yes, I don't know why I don't trust it. I just don't. Okay. Okay. Is that it? Did we do it? I think we did. Let me see if I broke it. Run. Build succeeded. Oh, and this will also be a review of where we did end up last time. Take a look at the simulator. One moment, please. We ask that you bear with us. Okay, and remember, I'm just putting all of the letters available in here, or at least the first of the letters available, and a couple of nils just to make sure that it works when the optional doesn't have a value yet. And if I click on a row, it tells me what row I'm on. This is row 0 at the top, which will not be row 0 in your mastermind game, by the way. Your row 0 will be down here, also known as my row 5. Ooh, so yours is different from mine. Here's row 3, and here's letter whatever, the F, and it highlighted it. It's letter 3, and there's S, letter 1. Now, perhaps in mild violation of the bottom-up approach, I do want to have a goal with this video, and we'll see if we get there or not. Instead of just putting arbitrary letters in here, I want to see if I can make the letter that I click on down here, F for example, make that show up in the next available square in a guess, just the way Wordle would do it. Wordle fills it in going across the row. You can backspace, and we'll have to add a backspace key later. But for now, I just want to see if I can put letters in the guess squares up here. So that's where I'm going to try to go. But first, we did discuss some other changes. Let's see. In the content view, it was getting awful crowded in there. The keyboard, here's all the keyboard stuff. And I don't think we want the keyboard stuff here. All the stuff to do with the keyboard should go in the, I'm scared. I don't trust myself there. Should go in the keyboard file. That's what I should have finished the statement at least. Not ready to kill that darling yet. Well, I might as well comment the comment. It's all a package deal. Okay, so now it's rather than cut and paste, I'll copy and paste until I make sure it works. Copy, and in the keyboard file, here's the keyboard key. That's when we made the file originally. And Command V, paste it. So now I need to make a keyboard structure for the whole keyboard. And oh my goodness, it doesn't like this even a little bit. I need structure, structure. How have I been doing? What's my new convention here? Keyboard structure. So instead of structure keyboard, I say keyboard structure. Is the entire keyboard of letter options in the view. There's a comment. But it does need to be a structure, struct keyboard. Can't think of a better name than that. Now this is the actual keyboard. Remember, this is not the virtual keyboard. The virtual keyboard is what the model thinks is going on with the keyboard and all the letter choices available and everything. So I need to make a keyboard here, and since it's a view, it's got to have a body. And the body is some view. The compiler will figure out what the data type is. And what else? Well, it was trying to put it in there, wasn't it? Command V? I think I already Command V'd it. Now it's in there twice. Yes, get out of here. Be gone. Got some extra spaces picked up somewhere. Everywhere. Okay. Some stuff it doesn't like. Expressions are not allowed at the top. Well, it changed its mind on that one. Can't find VM in scope. Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it? If we look back at the content view, the whole thing, the whole shebang, the big kahuna, it has a variable for the view model named VM. And we used that in the keyboard to figure out what letters to put on the keys on the keyboard. And this one doesn't have a view model. We could, I suppose, make our own variable VM and make a view model. Oh, that's just silliness. That's craziness. It might make these go away. Let's see if it makes it go away. Go away. There, I fixed it. Now this one has a view model. Except I bet you it's not going to be happy when I try to run it. Let's just see what it does. Well, for one thing, I'm not showing anything here. Maybe it would help if in the content view I said, show me a keyboard. So I can't just take it out and replace it with nothing. So let's put the keyboard in here. Keyboard. Now let's see what it looks like. A, S, D, F, G, H. And it still works. It's amazing. Okay. And that was the keyboard. VM equals view model. Now I am mystified. I don't know why. Choose letter, VM, choose letter, VM equals view model. I don't know why this one is the same view model that we made back here in the content view. This one made a view model, and I would have thought that the keyboard was a separate view model. But if it's okay with that, that's a mystery for me to solve. F, and the view model, it's acting like it's the same view model. Was 3, deselecting. We're getting all this stuff printed out. So I guess we're good to go. What? Well, since that works, before this gets hopelessly gunked up, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. And that simplified things. So now, well, wait a second here. Keyboard is supposed to be in the V stack. After all the guesses. It's almost as if I'm trying to break it after it works, isn't it? And it went back small again because now it's part of the V stack. I wondered why they got so much bigger. And, tis slightly broken. It knows I'm clicking on letters. And it's got a view model. You know what? I think my theory is it is a separate view model. This one is using its view model to put all the guesses up here, and the keyboard has its own view model that's separate from the view model in the main view. Think along with me here. This is a brand new local view model, but still, because of all the stuff the view model has in it, it makes its very own model that looks, I think we're replicating everything. And I'm getting a bad, queasy feeling about this. So wherever you are, keyboard, I am not going to make a fresh view model here. I am going to have a view model variable that is a view model. That seems to be okay. But now when I make the keyboard, let's see if this will fix it. Now when I make the keyboard, I think I'm going to have to specify what the VM is. Oh goodness gracious. And yes, I hear you yelling at the screen. VM here is the local variable inside the keyboard structure. There it is, VM. And VM here is the view model in effect for the entire application, which is defined at the top of the content view, and this won't work. So let's say the one inside the keyboard is local VM. It's its own copy. And at this point, while I'm navigating around and changing stuff, this might be a good point to remind you that part of the reason we made the view model a class is so that we can pass it around and everybody's getting the same dynamically allocated in the heap. They're getting the same view model object. Unlike structures. Structures, it makes a clone copy of it when you pass it to a function or pass it to a structure to be a computed variable value. So this is, when I set up a local variable called view model and I pass in from the content view, I pass in the view model that we have up here, then that is, okay, you know, I'm going to quit being coy about it. That's an address. That's an address of the view model object where it lives in the heap. And we're passing that in to the constructor of this keyboard structure to be the value of the local variable VM. Now, all this preaching and pontificating, let's see if that behaves any differently. Well, so far it looks the same. I can still click on rows. I can click on letters, but the highlighting is gone. And yes, I did just now remind myself of something that I discovered at the cost of much pain and suffering. Up here in Content View, I think I went through a lengthy explanation, all tangled up, about why this has to be an observed object. We want this view model, anytime changes are made in the view model, we want that to be radiated out to the view. So the view knows that it needs to update itself. We're not going to pass it parameters and functions or anything like that. It just has to automatically detect that some changes were made to the view model. You know what I found out the hard way? That characteristic as being an observed object is not passed along with it. If we pass that to be a parameter in a constructor, we have to make this one an observed object. Oh my goodness. How long did it take me to figure that out? And no amount of Googling and AI helped me realize that. I don't know, maybe it was buried in some of the gunk I ran into. But now, with all this preaching, I don't know that this will fix it or not. But I do know that that was a problem. If you want that to be an observed object down in this other structure, and look, now it is highlighting. Yes, I was right. I knew it. I was right. No, I didn't know it, but now I know it. So it's fine. You can pass in the view model so that the keyboard has the access to the one and only one view model up in the main view, but it has to be declared as an observed object down in this file as well. And I don't know what else to say about that. Let me go back to, I'm still doing cosmetic changes, by the way. This might be split into two videos. We have cosmetically finessed away the keyboard. I'll even put a comment there. The keyboard of letters the user can choose. There, now it's official. We also have a separate file for guesses and guess views. Now this is part of the view. If I recall, just plain guess is part of the model. Yes, look how handy that comment came in. I just clicked and I knew immediately this one is part of the view. So in the content view, if I'm going to finesse away all the user guesses, then I need to, well, I'm going to leave a comment behind. The, what is it? List. I'll make it a list of all user guesses. And I'm going to take a bold move and cut and paste this without just commenting it out. I'm going to kill my darling here. Right click, cut, bye-bye. And you're going to guest view, and it's already got letter guest view. So it's already got letter guest, row view, all kind of view. Down here, Command V, rows of all user guesses. I guess I need to give that one a name too, huh? How about, let's call that all, this will be a struct, all guesses view. That's the whole shebang. Everything that, all the guesses put together is that two-dimensional array up the top. We know what it is. And I should have waited to copy and paste, huh? Paste. Now I got to get rid of it again. One moment, please. Okay, so here we are. All guest view does not conform protocol view. Okay, we could have guessed that, couldn't we? That's got to have a body. It's got to be some view. And again, I should have waited. Well, wait. Is that what I want to do? I don't want that. I want this stuff that I've been copy and pasting all over the place. Cutting and pasting. Control X. Command X. Command X. Command V. How you like me now? So this, well, look, there it is again. Can't bind VM in scope. We learned our lesson last time, didn't we? Var local VM. So now when you want to make a structure for all the guesses, you have to supply a value for the local VM, which again will be passing the address. So it will be the one and only one view model that was set up for the content view. LOCALVM. Trying to talk and type at the same time. And even with caffeine, that is challenging. So how about that? Now I bet when we make content view, all guesses view, help me remember, all, all guesses view, this is shrinking down to almost nothing. All guesses view right here. And we want that. We want it to shrink down to almost nothing. And look what it did for me. I didn't type that in. Aren't you clever? Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to need. I'm going to need the local VM for all guesses view. Once again, let me see if I broke it. It doesn't appear to be broken. What about a row? Here goes, we're on row 2, on row 0, yada, yada, yada. So I think we got that part, at least for now, subject to changes. Is there anything else we need to do in the content view? There's almost nothing else we can do to it. That now, all of a sudden, ironically, the text is the biggest thing. It's got the most stuff specified. This is all that two-dimensional array of guesses up top, and this is the keyboard that the user can choose to select things. And I guess we should probably look at who's next. We've already done the keyboard, didn't we? Everything to do with the keyboard, I think. We still got some adjusting to do with the guest view, if I remember. Yeah, look at this. How embarrassing. What gunk we have here. We don't want that. Even though it does work, I'm going to comment that out temporarily. Bye-bye. And let's see, I commented out the entire H stack. So I think I'm going to need to have the H stack again. But let's do the for each trick. For each, and what are we making here? This is letter guess row view. This is exactly one row across. I don't know why I'm scrolling across this. Here, this is the top of the view. We need one row that goes across, so it needs to be 5 letters that are initially blank, so they're nil. So it's going to be for each 0 dot dot my new constant letters per guess, which check my memory, I think is 5. Letters per guess is 5, yes. Letters per guess. And for lack of any creativity whatsoever, I'll just call it index in what? A letter guess view? I don't know what all that stuff is. I might regret that. But I don't think we have to specify anything, do we? Here, it was nil, but we didn't have to even specify nil. I did that just to show that I could. Non-constant range, I get that error on 4H's all the time when I use my symbolic constants. If there's nothing else wrong, it goes ahead and runs, but I don't know why they complain about that. That is a constant. I set it up with let, didn't I? Yes, let. I think in this tiny little context here, we might even be smarter than the Swift compiler. Let me see if I broke it. That's what I say now every time I run it, isn't it? Let me see if I broke it. Now, it's empty. There's nothing in there. That's because it is possible to have letter guess rows with nothing in them. And then I can still do the other stuff. I didn't break it. It still highlights the letters. And it still lets me know what row I'm clicking on. And I can get rid of this because I don't need it anymore. Well, I'm going to claim I don't. I don't need this anymore. I don't need you anymore. And non-constant range. You know, I don't even care. You can take your non-constant range and I'll tell you what to do with it. I'm not going to press my luck. I know that this is the same interface we had before, but this was a lot of cosmetic surgery on the stuff that we already had. So I think I'm going to stop the video here, declare victory and retreat, and then start in immediately with a video that follows up on this and actually tries to let me use the keyboard to put letters in the guest views at the top. So I'll see you in just a little bit. Bye.